Hello, everybody. This is Georgiana and Meredith from Creativity for Kids, and today we are going to do some fun Easter/spring rock painting. So, Miss Meredith, take it away.
Thank you, Georgiana, and thank you, Issei. I am so happy to be here painting rocks with you today, and I hope you're excited as well. So, as we mentioned, we're doing some Easter rocks, and right here I have one of our many rock painting kits from Creativity for Kids. So this is the Hide and Seek Dot a Rock kit. And behind me, you'll see we have our glow-in-the-dark rock painting kits. And we also have our regular rock hide and seek rock painting kit. So there's multiple rock painting kits that you may have, and you can follow along with whichever one you might have with you. So let's open up the box and see what's inside. And we'll just put this over here. So you get 2 bags of giant rocks, and there's 5 in each bag, so you'll get a full set of 10 rocks. This is our rock painting paint, and it is specially formulated to be put out in the environment, and it should be safe from rain. Our paintbrush. These are itty bitty cute little paintbrushes used for little details like making dots. We have a sponge, and this is for applying the decals that we give you, which are right here. So we have our Dot a Rock decals. These are just black, and then we have foil ones. So they're really cool. They're really eye-catching when the light hits them. So we'll go over how to apply those. And then we have our little stickers that go on the back of the rock. So if you do go out into nature and hide your rocks, this says #creativity for kids. So you could take a picture, or whomever might find your rock could take a picture and post it up on our social media accounts. So we'll put that aside as well. And of course, we have our handy dandy instructions. So let's get started. And the first thing that we want to do is cover our work surface so we don't get paint all over the place. Okay, we'll put all this up here for now. Our little itty bitty paintbrushes and our sponge. And of course, you will need some water. You might need a pencil. And you will need some paper towels for drying your paintbrush. Just like that. Okay. So let's open up our rocks and prepare them for painting. So look at these giant rocks, and they are natural. So they might have a little bit of dust or dirt on them. And what we recommend is just washing them off with water and letting them dry before you actually paint them. But since I'm doing this right here, right now, I'm just going to leave them, and I'm going to prepare them by painting them white first. So why would I want to paint them white first? Well, it's because all the other colors will look a little bit brighter if there's a white background underneath, like a white base coat. So that's what I'm going to do real quick here. And while you're painting your rocks with that base coat, that white base coat, you might want to start thinking about how you want to paint your rocks, like what design you want to put on them. So today we're focusing on Easter rocks. So I'm looking specifically at the shapes of the rocks that might look like an Easter egg, or maybe it would somehow fit an Easter bunny, or possibly a tulip, or some other type of springtime flower. So while you paint your rocks, maybe an image comes to mind as to what that shape of that rock would be good for. So I have some examples up here. So you can see this is our butterfly here. And the shape of this rock really fit the shape of the butterfly very well. And we have another butterfly over here, which was just hand drawn too. And you can see how it was fit onto the shape of this rock. So do we have any questions or comments from our friends so far, Georgiana?
Let's see if we have any ideas of spring or Easter rocks.
Yeah. No ideas yet. That's okay. All right. So while we wait for these rocks to dry, I do want to bring up some other rocks that I had already painted before our class. And I actually used a different rock painting kit. It's the Paint Pour rock painting kit, and it's super easy and fun to do with these really awesome results. It comes with special paint that you put in a little cup and then you pour it over the rocks. And then as the paint settles on the rocks, you get these really cool swirls, or like you might get these like little bubbles and stuff. So this is like special paint pouring paint that decorated these rocks. So again, while these dry, I'm going to go ahead and use maybe one or two of these to add one of our decals on. So all of my viewers out there, all my friends, which design would you like to see on this rock? Now we have to make sure that it will fit. So look at the size of the rock and the size of the decal. Does anyone have a suggestion as to what design we should use? We have a ladybug, flower, a dragonfly, some cool looking stars, flower shapes, butterfly, a smiley face, the heart. Any thoughts out there? All right, Georgiana, what do you think?
We have a vote for Dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
I was gonna vote that too.
Oh, that's a coincidence. That's cool. It's meant to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so to use these decals, it's very similar to a temporary tattoo. So you just cut out the decal that you want. And you'll notice that there's this little protective sheet on top of it. It's like this little clear sheet. And you remove the clear sheet. Let's see, can you see the clear sheet? It's clear, it's hard to see. But you remove the clear sheet. And then you put the design face down on your rock. Like that. And then you take your little itty bitty cute little sponge and just kind of wet the corner of it and dab the water on. And as you dab the water on, you'll see the design through the back paper. And it doesn't have to be dripping wet. It can just be like all wet, but not like dripping wet. And you just kind of let it sit for a couple seconds. Just push it down, make sure it's sticking all the way. And then to check if it's on, you just lift up a little corner to see if it's sticking. And it's sticking. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Like one little itty bitty part is still up, but I can push that down. There you go. So ta-da! So cool. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Okay, no, that's a bee. This is a dragonfly. I'm not quite sure what the noise for a dragonfly is.
Does it make a sound of a dragon or does it make a sound of a fly?
Right, you just hear the wings going by
Yeah.
because they're kind of quick, but they don't buzz like bees. Or maybe they do. I don't know. All right, so now that we have our adorable little dragonfly on our rock, you can use these cool little brushes to add color on top. So here's our palette of paints. Pink, green, yellow, blue, the white, orange, and purple. And I'm just going to move these all up here. And when you open up your little pots of paint, if they don't look fluidy, you might want to mix them around because sometimes when paint sits around for a little bit, it settles. So you might need to just mix it around a little bit. So let's open up our paint, but this one looks really good. So let's just give it a go. We'll dip the tip of our little itty bitty paintbrush in there. And then just depending on how much you push down, the more pressure you apply when you push down, the larger the dot of paint. If you do just an itty bitty bit of pressure, you can actually get those teeny tiny little dots. Just like that. Cool. And for the larger dot, I'm actually going to make a circle with my dauber, with my little paintbrush. Just like that. So we already have green. And actually, I think I want to put little antenna up here. So I'm just going to draw a straight line. And then a little dot at the end for one antenna. And same thing over here. Oh, I like this little dragonfly. Now let's add some color to the wings. I think the most magical dragonflies that I've ever seen have those blue wings that are kind of iridescent. So they kind of like shimmer a different color in the sun. They're really cool. So that's my inspiration for this little dragonfly. And you don't have to dot all of the dots. You can leave some empty if you want. So I'm just going to dot the inside dots with blue and leave the outside dots black.
While you're dotting, we do have a question.
What is it?
We are having a little bit of trouble getting the decal to stick.
Oh, booger.
What is your tips and tricks and advice on getting it to stick?
It takes a little bit of practice. Sometimes there's too much water and sometimes there's not enough water. So the amount of water would be not dripping wet, but just wet enough to see the decal through the backer paper. And like I said, if you just kind of lift the edge up and see if it's sticking, that's helpful. And if you see that it is not sticking, get a little bit more water on your sponge and add a little bit more water. And just be careful not to slide the decal across the surface of the rock. You just have to kind of push down. But we'll do another one and I'll show you again. I'm glad you asked that question.
And it's important to note that it's on, Meredith right now is doing it on the dry rock.
Oh, right,
So the
yeah.
paint under is not wet.
Correct. Thank you, Georgiana. Yep. Yes. So we'll put that one down and let it dry because I do want to add more color to it. And that's one of the awesome things about this, dotting the rocks, is that you can keep adding smaller dots on top of the larger dots and give it more depth and more interest because there's more colors, more layers. All right, so we'll put this to the side again and we'll do another decal. Okay, so this one is going on this really rad looking rock. So, friends out there, what decal should I use? Will it be the ladybug? Will it be the heart with the rainbow? Possibly the smiley face. What do we think? Do we have any suggestions?
My personal suggestion is the pinwheel.
The pinwheel one. Is it this one or this
Yep,
one?
nope.
This top one?
Mhm.
Okay. We're all in agreement. We'll do the pinwheel one.
I just think that's a rad design.
It is a rad design. For a rad rock. All right. A rad design for a rad rock. So I am curious, to our friend who asked the question, do you have this kit? Are you using these decals? I'm wondering if you're using these decals. Because sometimes the metallic-y decals act a little different than these decals, and I can see that maybe there's a little bit of a, okay, so I'm removing the clear plastic again. There we go. So yeah, sometimes they act a little different and sometimes they're a little temperamental, but most of the time they act the same. So we put our little decal down, and that's the other thing. Be sure you take off the plastic protective paper before you put it down on your rock. And then our sponge, where did our sponge go? Ooh, here it is. It was totally hiding. All right. Dabbing the water with the sponge and then dabbing the sponge onto the decal. So you can see already the design is showing through the backer paper. And we just keep dabbing it because I want all of the paper to be damp, to be wet, but not drippy wet. So I just push it down because when paper gets wet, it kind of gets wrinkly, and we're working on a rounded surface. So we want to make sure that all of the paper is pushed down. Now we're going to look at one of the corners and see if it's sticking. Just kind of peek. Yep, it looks like it's sticking. So we're going to just slowly peel it right up, just like that. So it really doesn't take too long for the water to really absorb into the backer paper. And what I'm doing right now is just kind of using my finger to lightly push down any edges that might be popping up. But we're all good. Pinwheel on. All right, so we can add paint on top of this design as well. But instead, I think I'd like to check my white rocks and see, yep, they are all dry. Cool. So let's get to some Eastery, springtimey themes. And I'm really excited to paint a bunny because I painted a bunny a couple weeks ago and it turned out super duper cute. And it's in the kawaii style. So I'm going to try and paint that again. So we'll just use this rock. I think that'll be a nice shaped rock for our bunny. And this one actually would be a really cute Easter egg. So we'll save that one for Easter egg. And instead of using my decals this time, I'm just going to paint with our paintbrush. And we'll give it a background color. How about yellow? A bright yellow background. So I'm going to have to let the background color dry. And while it dries, I'm going to paint the background of our Easter egg rock. So friends out there, do you have a suggestion, or would you like to see a certain color of Easter egg? If so, write into Georgiana and she'll let me know. So here's our background for our bunny. And here's our Easter egg rock. So do we have
Purple or pink?
purple
Sounds
or
like you and
pink?
Lindsay have the same color palette. And yellow,
Alright.
pink, and green. We're gonna have a multicolor Easter egg.
Oh, okay. So the background, let's do pink as the background then. And then we can add yellow and green and purple on top as part of the design. So I see our friend up there has the glow in the dark kit. So I actually have components from the glow in the dark kit because that's the kit that I created my little Hawaii bunny with. And it turned out really cool. All right, so we'll let that dry too now. And maybe we'll do one more background. I want to show you this fun technique. It's actually like this, where you start with one color and then it kind of radiates into another color. So I'm going to just use this rock because it's somewhat round. And it's all about blending. And then we can use this rock for another one of our decals. Okay, so we'll start with a lighter color. And when you're blending paint or mixing paint, I should say, you always want to start with a lighter color and then add the darker color to it because it's easier to go darker than to go lighter. So that's just art school type stuff. And what I'm doing is kind of like a flower where you're pulling the paint away from the center. So I put yellow paint in the center and then I pulled it outward, kind of like a sunshine, maybe like a lion's mane. And then I'm going to take another color and I'm going to go around the outside and then shush, like brush the paint inward in order to blend the two colors together. So I'm going to use the blue. So hopefully we create a green blend. And some colors work better than others. So it's all about experimenting to see what colors work best. So I'm going all around the rock with my blue first. And then I'm going to go swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. And I'm picking up some of that yellow. In. But it's basically creating this cool green color like that. So you get this really neat radiating color blend. And it kind of almost looks like tie-dye in a way. So it's a fun little technique to try, and I hope I hope you try it and I hope you like it. And trying it with different colors is really fun. So let's see here. So it's very heavy with the green. So I'm going to go back in with some more blue just around the edges and bring that a little bit more blue back. A little bit of blue back. And really, you can keep playing with the paint, blending it while it's still wet. So this is our kind of tie-dye-y blend. And we'll let that dry. All right, so let's see if our yellow background is dry. Yep, all dry. So I love this paint because it does dry so quickly. But you don't really want to just go like this to make sure it's dry. Just go like this a little bit, just in case it isn't dry. And I can tell this is going to take a little longer to dry because we did add so much paint to it. All right, so I'm going to draw my bunny first. And I'm going to look at my reference. And I like to draw out what I'm doing as a just in case I forget the shape of what I'm trying to draw. So my bunny, see here, this is my bunny. So it looks like kind of like an oval for its face with a little bit of uppy bump for the top of his head. And then his ears kind of go down like that. So let's try and draw that a little darker. And you might not be able to see it, but I can see it. And I'll just paint it so then you guys definitely see it. Hello, cute little bunny. Little Easter bunny. Yay. And then the little eyes. Boop, boop. And the itty bitty nose and the little itty bitty smiley mouth. Okay, so we're gonna use white for a bunny rabbit. Oh, so I have to open up the white. Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Go ahead, Jordana. You know that song?
I do. I'm hippity hopping about it. Because Easter is Sunday.
Yep. We'll get that song stuck in your head. All right. So this is how I paint most of the things that you see on the different rock samples. I like to use simple shapes and then add detail to it in order to create whatever we're creating. So something like an oval with a little bit of a half circle up top. And then the ears, whoop, just like that. And it doesn't look like a bunny really yet, but it will once you add the detail in. Oh, sweet little bunny. Let's see, what's this bunny's name? Brittany? Brittany the bunny?
I think you need to give it to Brittany now after this.
We have a friend named Brittany, so we can give it to Brittany afterwards. Okay, back to our Easter egg. All right, so we said purple, green, yellow. Were those the only colors we're using? Purple, green, and yellow?
Purple, green, yellow. Look at
Okay.
you.
Oh. All right. So we could make it a polka dotted one. Well, let's do a little bit of line work and a little bit of polka dot. So the polka dots that I like to use or the tool I like to use, other than the itty bitty little dots like this, I use the back of the paintbrush to create a dot. And it's a larger dot, so then we can add other color on top of it. So I'll do polka dots up top, polka dots down below, purple polka dots down below. Oh, I think I should add one or two more up here. Can't forget the very top of the rock, just like that. And yellow polka dots in the middle. And I like to close up my paints so I don't spill them just on accident. So when I'm not using them, I close them up. And again, with this technique, whenever you're creating dots or painting in general, really, the amount of pressure that you apply, the more pressure, the larger the stroke or the dot. And with less pressure, it's a smaller line or brush stroke or dot. Oh, this is a lovely little Easter egg. I really like it. And then green. So for creating lines, I like to just put the paintbrush in so only the tip gathers the paint. So by the tip, I mean like this much instead of all the way up to this metal part. So just gather some paint. I think my line might be a little crooked, but that's okay.
It's not a perfectly oval rock.
Right, yeah.
It's your own interpretation.
True. And actually, I do see a little bristle is trying to get loose, so I'm just gonna cut it off. See ya, bristle. Messing up my line. All right. And every now and then that happens. And that's okay. Look at this little Easter egg. I can't wait to hide it. I'm gonna hide it in the office. So one of our office mates will find it and be like, what the? This is awesome. Look at this rock. Yay! Okay. Easter egg number 1. Almost done because I want to put a cute little kawaii face on it. So let's look back at my bunny again. I want to see if I added, oh, I did. I added black line around it to create the definition. I also added cute little pink cheeks and a little bit of pink in the ears. So that's what I'm going to do again. So, and with whatever kit you have, like if you do have the glow in the dark kit, you can do the same thing. You're given the little pink, you're given the white. So similar colors. And then in the glow in the dark kit, you're actually given the glow in the dark paints too. So then you can add some kind of specialness with the glow in the dark paint. So I'm going to add the pink. And really, since I'm talking about it, I think I'm going to go with the lighter pink from our glow in the dark kit and to make the cheeks and the inside of the ears. So a little bit of roundness right here. A little bit of roundness right here. A little pink cheeks. And then inside the ear. And inside the other ear. Cute. And if you wanted to make the pink lighter, you just take some white. I might as well show you. So if you want to make any color lighter, you would just grab some white. And you can even just use your paper towel as a mixing surface. So again, you're taking the lighter color, so that would be white, and then a little bit, a teeny tiny bit of the pink, and you just mix it in. So now you have a really light pink. So instead of the bright pink, if you wanted light pink, you would put that on there. And I want them to match. So do the other little cheek too. Cool. All right. And to add my face and details, I'm going to use, again, from the glow in the dark set, the black. And we'll use our teeny tiny brush. Now this little brush, it doesn't hold a lot of paint, so you might have to dip it a couple times in order to fully outline your bunny or whatever it is that you've decided to paint. And speaking of whatever you've decided to paint, I would love to see what you have painted. So if you have an older friend or an adult who could take a picture of your beautiful rock painting, you can go ahead and share it up on our social media accounts. So for Facebook or for Instagram, hashtag Creativity for Kids. Here's our ear. Floppy little bunny ear. This one looks a little different than the other one that I did, but they're all gonna be a little bit different because they're all handmade, and that's okay. And time for our sweet little face. Itty bitty eyeball here. Itty bitty eyeball here. Itty bitty nose. This brush is perfect for itty bitties. That's so cute. Okay, this looks like a little boy bunny, but maybe if I add, and that's okay, but I kind of wanted to add eyelashes. You got it, Georgiana. Eyelashes.
But he would look so cute with a little bow tie.
Oh, you are right.
Bow tie.
Oh, you saved him last minute. You saved him. Okay. We'll just do the bow tie. Kind of want to put it up here. I will. Little cute little bow tie. Good job, Georgiana, baby.
You already made his friend. You're just making his friend.
His other friend, yeah. Hello, little friend. Okay, now we need to paint his bow tie. He's a cutie. Okay, so this bunny's name is Mr. Brittany. Oh, oops, where'd that go? I pulled that right up. Back in, back in. There we go. All right, so we need, how about some green, a green little bow tie. Bow tie, bow tie. So I kind of love keeping things from other kits. Like you see, I think it's really helpful to have multiple colors of paint to use during our rock painting kits or a lot of other crafts. So holding on to these things that can be reused over and over again is actually really helpful. Yay! Hello, Mr. Brittany. And of course, you could dot his bow tie if you wanted to. Okay, so back to this one. I don't think we're going to be able to put the decal on because it is still wet in the middle. But let's go ahead and add a little bit more dimension to our dragonfly. How about some, I'll do some white dots over the yellow or over the green dots. And you should be able to see them, I think. So a little bit of white. And it's just so quick and easy to make these dots with a little tool like this. And like I showed you in the beginning of class, you actually get 3 of them just in case the tip of one gets a little wonky. You have 2 others that you can use. So we'll put that one aside and let it dry and then add more paint if we want to. All right. Well, is there any others that we should do? I did want to put a little face on this one, but it's also pretty wet, so we're not gonna do that one yet. So friends out there, before we end our class, is there any other decals you would like to see or spring or Easter rocks that you'd like me to paint? Go ahead and write in and Georgiana will let me know. No? All right. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed our class, and I hope that you join us the next time. I believe in 2 weeks, I will be doing our butterfly fairy door. So I hope you can join me then. And happy painting and happy hiding your rocks and happy Easter. Bye now.